So Act 5, Scene 8 is also known as the grand finale of the play Macbeth. Things are getting intense. Macduff, fueled by his anger and vengeance, confronts Macbeth, who has been causing all sorts of trouble throughout the play. Macduff is not just doing it for the sake of revenge, but it is the final showdown. Macbeth, on the other hand, feels a little hesitant. He is thinking that he is all protected by the magical spells of the witches, but then Macduff drops a bombshell. He reveals that he was not exactly born in the usual way. He was ripped early from his mother's womb, which technically means that he was not born of a woman. Suddenly, Macbeth's confidence shatters. He realizes that this might be rather the final moments of his life, but he does not want to just give up like that. He still tries to put up a fight. Ultimately, it is Macduff who emerges victorious by killing Macbeth at the end. The drama does not stop here. With Macbeth out of picture, Malcolm steps up as the new king. He rewards his loyal supporters, promising to restore order and justice to Scotland. Enter Macbeth. Macbeth says, "Why should I play the Roman fool and die on my own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them." That is, Macbeth says, why should I commit suicide as did the Roman generals, just to avoid disrespect and dishonor of being defeated, that too by my own sword. So he thinks suicide is not going to be a solution. He says, as long as I see the living enemies, I will keep fighting and doing injuries to my enemies. Enter Macduff. Then Macduff says, "Turn towards me, you hellhound." Macbeth says, "Of all persons, I have wanted to avoid you, but you have come yourself over here. My heart is already overburdened with the murder of your family." Macduff says, "I am not going to speak anymore. It is my sword that will speak for me. You are a villain and you have committed a lot of murders. More murders than words can describe the kind of crimes you have done." And then there is a scene of fighting that goes on between Macduff and Macbeth. Macbeth says, "Thou losest labor, as easy mayest thou the intrenchant heir." That is, he is saying, you are wasting your energy. You can hurt me no more. You can't even put a mark on me with your sword. You may attack with your sword the helmets of persons who can be defeated, but my life is protected by magic. I am not destined to die at any cost, because as per the prophecy, I can only be killed by someone who is not born of a woman. Macduff says that give up your faith in this magical spell. Let the demon whom you have always served tell you that Macduff was prematurely taken out of his mother's womb. That is, he was not brought forth by the normal manner in which a child is born, but because I was a premature child, I was delivered before time. That is why he uses the term, I was untimely ripped. Macbeth says, "May your tongue be cursed for telling me this, because it has made me lose all the courage and bravery. Let no one believe again these cheating devils who were trying to make me, they were trying to convince me that I am going to live forever, and that led me to become excessively ambitious, and to the point that I did one after the other murders. These witches have poured words of promise in our ears, and see how the very witches who promised that I would never die have made me lose all hope." Macduff then goes on to say, "Then surrender yourself, you coward, and live to be an exhibit of the people of our times. We shall paint you on a canvas and fix it on a pole with the inscription that will be written below. Here you can see the tyrant." Macbeth says, "I will not surrender to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet and be tortured by the curses of the crowd. Though Birnam Wood has moved to Dunsinane and you, my opponent, are not born of a woman, I will still try to fight my way out. I am going to place my shield before my body, and I'm going to put up a fight with you instead of just giving up on yourself, and there is a fighting that happens. Now in many versions of some plays, this is actually Act 5 Scene 8, and there is Act 5 Scene 9 which begins after this. Based on the text that you follow, you can follow it likewise. Otherwise, Act 5 Scene 8 is also given as one final scene in many text versions. Malcolm enters saying, "I wish that our missing friends have all arrived over here in time." Seward says that some might die, and yet considering the number of men who are still left, it may be said that this great victory has been bought at a low cost. That is, even if they have been able to win over Macbeth, they have lost a lot of their own men. Malcolm says, "Macduff and your noble son are missing." Ross at this time tells to Seward, "Your son, my lord, has died a soldier's death. He lived only as long as he could fight like a man. As soon as he had his courage lost, he tried his best to fight. However, after a point, he died like a man." Then Seward asks, "Do you mean that he is dead?" He gets a little shocked on hearing this. Ross confirms that yes, he has died and his body has been brought from the field. Then he says that your grief must not be measured in terms of the qualities that he had, because then your grief will never end. Seward says, "Did he have injuries on the front of his body?" Ross says, "Yes, on the front side of his body he was injured." Seward says, "Well then, may God receive him as his crusader. If I had sons as many as my hair, I would not have wished them a nobler death, and so his death has been announced." Why is it so? Because remember, when Jesus Christ died, he was crucified on the cross. The palms of his hand, his feet were all nailed to a cross. So that is why he compares his death to that of the death of Jesus Christ. Malcolm then says that he deserves greater mourning, and I will arrange for a nice funeral. Seward says he cannot have greater praise than what he has received. They say that he died bravely and then he did his duty, and so may God grant him peace. Here comes some fresh news and comfort. Enter Macduff with Macbeth's head. Macduff tells to Malcolm, "Greetings, King, because this is what you are now. Look at the head of Macbeth as it is hung on my lance. The people have regained their freedom. I see you are surrounded by great nobles who are also echoing the greeting along with me. I wish to hear their voices." There are lots of greetings from Scotland, because finally the people of Scotland feel they have been freed from the tyranny of Macbeth. After this, we have the final speech of Malcolm. He says, "We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend like queen. This and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone." So over here, Malcolm says that we are not going to waste a lot of our time. What we are going to do is quickly, all my thanes and friends, from now on, he confers the title of Earls of Scotland upon them. He says that Scotland for the first time has conferred such a title on men. What else is remaining to be done, we will do. Finally, this tyrant, that is Macbeth, has died. All his spies have also run away from here. We will do justice to Scotland, and all those people who had run away from Scotland will be requested to come back again, because Scotland is finally free, because it is not just Macbeth, but even the devilish queen who reportedly took her life with her own hands is also no longer there over here. All this and other necessary things that demand our attention will be done. I request God to help me in this proper time and place. I offer my thanks to all of you collectively and individually who were here to help me to get this victory. There is trumpet and everyone exits. Let us quickly discuss the major themes of this scene. We see fate versus free will at work because Macbeth's belief that he would never die based on the prophecies of the witches clashes with Macduff's determination to defy fate and kill him. Macbeth's pursuit of power ultimately leads to his downfall, while Malcolm gets the rightful throne of Scotland. The scene is filled with imagery of bloodshed and revenge, highlighting the cycle of violence which Macbeth had committed to others. The karma is coming back to him. And finally, we see Macduff's assertion of his masculinity despite his unconventional birth challenges the traditional notions of strength and bravery. Finally, let me tell you what is the importance of this final scene of the play. We have resolution and closure. The confrontation between Macbeth and Macduff brings closure to the central conflict of the play, resolving the tension that has been building up throughout the play. Secondly, there is restoration of order. With the defeat of Macbeth, Malcolm's rise to the throne symbolizes the restoration of rightful leadership and the promise of a new era for Scotland. And finally, there is justice and redemption because Macbeth's death serves as a form of justice for the crimes that he committed, offering a sense of redemption for the characters and the kingdom as a whole. So that's it from here. This was the final showdown in Macbeth with a mix of drama, action and thematic richness. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.